Hey gaming fans, so today I have another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile, and this one is Watts. I recently got the two cards I needed to build this deck, so I thought, hey, let's put it together. So let's get to the deck and I'll tell you my choices. So we got, first off, the Watt Hopper. This one is pretty much just to try and lock your opponent from being able to attack and target your Watts. So your opponent cannot select another face-up Watt monster as an attack target and cannot target them with effects. You have to be careful with this guy. He's only got a 0 attack, so you really need to get two of them out on the field, and then they kind of work together. At least I believe that's how that works. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below, but I'm pretty sure that's how the Watt lock works. Anyways, on to the next one. We have Wattfox. So this is your tuner of the deck. This gets you into your synchro plays. So he's a level 2 tuner. Keep in mind these monsters are all thunder as well. He has an effect if this card is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or card effect. Your opponent cannot special summon a monster or activate spells or traps until the rest of his turn. So, I mean, I guess it could disrupt your opponent, but chances are that's not going to really do much. Then on to the aggressive part of the deck, we got the Watt Cobras. So the intention of this deck is to really just stall out your opponent and attack directly for damage. And they pretty much have around 1,000 attack. So this card can attack your opponent directly, and when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent with a direct attack, you add one Watt monster from your deck to your hand. So he's really cool because he's going to keep replenishing these Watts to your hand, so you could drop more down and just keep attacking. Then we got 3 Watt Giraffe. Again, similar concept. This card can attack your opponent directly, and when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, your opponent cannot activate spells, traps, or spell trap effects, or monster card effects until the end of the battle phase of this turn. So, I mean, it kind of can help you out, but, you know, maybe if your opponent tries to stop your attacking. The next one is Watt Pheasant, which is another 1,000 attack. This card can attack directly as well, and when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, you select one face-up monster on the field and remove it from play until the end phase of this turn. So, I mean, that can be useful. It can be annoying. Depending on what your opponent's playing too, you might be able to flick out a monster. Maybe it had counters on it or something like that, or a power boost, and then you could erase that power boost and reset it. So, you know, it might come in handy. And then the final monster is 3 Thunder Seahorse, which just can pretty much search out your Watts. So you can discard it to add 2 level 4 light thunder type monsters of the same name with 1,600 or less. They're all under 1,600. Attack from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of Thunder Seahorse once per turn, and you cannot special summon during the turn you activate this effect. So just keep in mind you won't be able to go into your synchro plays or anything like that. This is probably something you're going to do turn 1 just to set yourself up. And that's it for the monster lineup. Let's go into the spells and traps. So for the spells, we got 1 for 1. That's really just to get this guy out, the Watt Hopper, to try and get into your little lock. And because you're adding monsters to your hand a lot, I put in 3 double summons just to get monsters onto the field faster. You know, with the Thunder Seahorse, you add 2 monsters, and then with double summon, you can put them both onto the field. Also, with your guy there that searches out Watt monsters, you would be able to summon it, the Watt Cobra. Then you'd be able to summon the monster if you want. Then for some search power, I added in 3 Pot of Duality, kind of like your little draw power of the deck, just to get to the cards you might need. And these are the 2 cards that I needed to finish this deck, and that's the Watt Train. I don't know if I would want to play 3 or not. I mean, they are a little bit conditional. So you add Watt cards with different names from your deck to your hand, except Watt Train, up to the number of Thunder type monsters you control with different names. And then during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you could banish this card from your graveyard to special summon as many Watt monsters as possible with different names from your hand. So, I mean, it does come in a lot handy. It can search out Watt cards, and that's what's cool about it. It searches out just the Watt cards, so you can grab whatever monsters you need, or any spells or traps if you have any. Then we have the main lock of the deck, and that's just Messenger of Peace. So I got 3 of those, and then so during each standby phase, you have to pay 100 life points, which is no big deal, or you destroy this card. And you know, you might want to do that if you're able to get bigger monsters onto the field. You might want to destroy it during your standby phase so you can attack with bigger monsters. But otherwise, monsters with 1500 or more attack cannot attack. So your whole deck is pretty much under 1500 attack. And then, just to control the board a little bit, Forbidden Chalice. Now this can work in multiple ways. I mean, it could obviously shut down your opponent's monster's effects. You target one face-up monster on the field. Until the end phase, it gains 400 attack, but its effects are negated. So, I mean, you could use this in 2 ways. You can negate your opponent's effects and prevent them from going off. Also, if they managed to pull out a monster that's 1400 or less attack, and they go to attack your face-up Watt monsters, you could activate this before their battle phase and increase their attack to possibly get them underneath or above the condition for Messenger of Peace, and they won't be able to attack. So I mean, that's a possibility. You could also use it in the damage step if you need to increase your own monster's attack. So that's it for the spells. I just kept this deck to be pretty simple on what it's trying to do. So I put in 2 Watt cancels for the traps. This is a counter trap. When your opponent would normal summon or special summon a monster, you discard 1 Watt monster, negate the summon, and destroy it. So the only reason why I put those in there is because Watt Train can search it out. So you can grab, you know, the Watt cancel, and you can grab, like, say, a Watt monster, and set your Watt cancel, and then your opponent has to rethink of their plays because they know you have that there. Then for a little bit of control, I put in 3 Rivalry of the Warlords, because your entire monster lineup is Thunder. So aside from some of the extra deck cards, you're pretty much, you know, could sit on that and just keep attacking directly while they're trying to get rid of this. And then 2 Call of the Haunteds, just in case your opponent kills one of your monsters. Also, if you got one of these guys in the graveyard, you might want to call the other one back, and then you can get back into your Watt lock. And it's, you know, it's a card that you could special summon during your opponent's turn, so you don't have to worry about, like, when you activate your Pot of Duality that says you cannot special summon this turn, so you can call the Haunted on your opponent's end phase. So that's all I thought for that one. And that's the deck there. So the extra deck, we have 3 Watt Chimeras. So this is your primary go-to card. It's a Thunder type, so you can keep your Rivalry of the Warlords, and you don't have to worry about it. You can still summon this guy. He's 1400 attack, so he still fits under Messenger of Peace. And it can attack your opponent directly. And when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, you place 1 random card from your opponent's hand on top of their deck. So that can get really annoying, especially if you get 2 of these guys out. You're going to put 2 cards from their hand back on top of their deck. I mean, that would just get annoying. And then for some extra monsters, just in case you need to pull something out if you don't have your Rivalry of the Warlords out, because you can go into a 6 play, so Bryonic is just a good monster altogether. And just because you can possibly pull it out in this deck, Leo, the Keeper of the Sacred Tree, and that's what I kind of mentioned earlier about your Messenger of Peace. If you let it die during your standby phase, you can go into this guy to go for a good 3100 attack, depending on what your board is looking like. That's it for the synchros. And I put in some Link stuff. So we got Link Karibo, just in case you do play 3 level 1s. I was looking at this guy just because he has the ability to add a continuous or field spell from your graveyard to your hand. So if you lose your Messenger of Peace, you do have a way of, kind of fishing it back out of the graveyard and putting it back onto the field. And I just put Underclock Taker, Power Code Talker, Warlord, whatever you want to play. I mean, you don't have to play these, obviously. And if your Rivalry is out, you're kind of stuck. You won't be able to summon any of these. And the same thing with the XEs. I just threw in some standard rank 4 plays. Castell, Daigusto, Cowboy, which probably will be a little bit more useful in this deck because you are doing a lot of direct damage. Starliege Palamon, you know, whatever. He's a level 4, 2 level 4 light monsters, so your whole deck is pretty much light monsters anyways. And he's got a pretty cool effect that you could attach 2 materials from this card to target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes 0, and if it does, its effects are negated. And then when this card you control is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or card effect, you get to draw a card. So, you know, kind of a fun card to pull out if you can. And just a utopia. So that's pretty much the deck. I mean, it's a very simple deck. It just tries to control the board using the Watt monsters to attack directly. Your primary goal is to get your messenger piece set up and just go to town on your opponent by attacking directly and interfering with their plays and doing a few synchros along the way. Anyways, hope you liked the deck. Let me know what you think. Throw some comments down below. You can, you know, obviously switch out a lot of these cards. If you don't want to play the Rivalry, you can play just other defensive traps, or you could play the other one that prevents, you know, your attributes. It really depends on how you want your play style. I thought this was just a kind of a fun tech because it does negate monster effects, and that's what's going on in this environment now. Anyways, hope you liked the deck. Throw some comments down below. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.